And welcome, everybody. So, we have 7 players qualified for Red Bull. We are trying to get to that final spot. And the winners between these two players, Sebastian Sitaux, will be up against the Viper in the next series. So we have 2 more sets of the Red Bull qualifier. Viper waits for whomever it will be. I would say that it could be either player here. I think if you would have asked me a year ago, I would have said Sitaux. But I think present day Sebastian's been extremely active and really improved. So I'm going to lean a little bit towards Sebastian here. But I got to say, Sitaux seems prepped for what's coming. We had a conversation in the interview about how you beat the Armenian longsword play. And the answer, at least Harris thinking, was you go double range archers here. So this full-on longsword feudal age for Armenians, which takes a while to get to, might not necessarily do a lot against the double archer range opening for Dravidians. I really like the Dravidians in Empire Wars, guys, particularly on a map that incorporates some water. But, like, this is really nice start here for Sitaux. Sitaux already got some damage on the scout and is chasing that down. He knows what should be coming here. He seems to be waiting for this. Did he catch a glimpse of it? He doesn't catch a glimpse of it. That's actually really bad for him. So now he's got to bring his archers back. This is nice for Sebastian because if Sebastian was cut off on this one angle, he wouldn't be able to really run around and harass. But now Sitaux has to chase. And just remember how important the fish is on this map. Farming is not very good on this map sorry, I guess it's good long term, but there's just so much fish. Normally the map is dominated by can you have your villagers there? And so what I would do, what I would consider right now, if I'm Sebastian, is I would try and use the distraction of the longswords to maybe try and sneak a dock up. We have to keep a very close eye on that. Sebastian has a fire galley here already waiting. Both players could be doing that. Love the micro from Sitaux so far. Again, it's good work from Sebastian, though. You're probably going to lose this army eventually. Keep Sitaux on the move and make life very difficult for him. Love the tower here from Sitaux. That's good thinking. And he has some skirms. He has some archers mixed in still. But, oh, man, he still has not been able to kill these longswords. Guys, the difference between Sitaux just sitting here at the top of this hill near the flag and not is crazy so far. And we've got skirmishers and we've got another barracks here from Sebastian. I think Sebastian's just going to stay in feudal age. I mean, if you get enough longswords, you can melt the tower. And we also saw examples of the longswords are really good against feudal age fires. This is the only civ that can do this, Armenians. So you pick them pretty much just for this. I do think having mule carts is kind of nice for the other aspects of your eco. I feel like that tower is perfectly placed for Sitaux, though. It can't be attacked easily. It's behind the archer ranges. It's a really awkward area for Sebastian to engage into. And still, Sebastian running around. Sitaux, I'm sure he's trying to convince himself he can just wall this up, but 3 longswords could mess up his economy. So ideally, he gets the kills. I would love to see a demo just in case here if you're Sitaux. Sitaux is on the way to Castle Age. He does have the fire. Notice how little damage the fire ends up doing here, though. The tower even seems to be doing very little damage. And so Sebastian is going to dive. Sebastian will have the other longswords coming in at the same time, hoping to get damage. Sitaux is bringing his archers forward, though. He has to be careful with the skirmishers that are there from Sebastian. Sebastian's eco is fully working on the fish this entire time. And Sitaux has had to leave with everything. You also have the longsword still on the back. And what a push from Sebastian, guys. This is a crazy strategy. That was amazing for Sebastian, too, because he lost a 2 HP longsword to the demo, which, of course, he doesn't care about. And now, like, what do you do if you're Sitaux? You're going to make it to Castle Age. But what resources do you have? You haven't had your villagers actively working. The villagers have been actively working on all the shore fish here if you're Sitaux. Or Sebastian, rather. Man, if only Sitaux had a demo a little bit earlier. The demo would have been in that dock when this attack started. It would have changed the engagement, but this is just looking so rough for him. He's dropping a stable now. I think overall he had a really nice game. But it's just some Castle Age units mixed against Feudal Age units, essentially. And the longswords have done so much here. Looks like there were some longswords back here. They got killed off finally. But... And here's the beautiful thing about Sebastian's situation. You can actually make pikemen. Like, if your opponent were to go knights, which Dravidians can't really do, or I guess an elephant in this case, you can just stay in feudal age and still go pikemen. So this is definitely one of the best civilizations for this map. I think Sitaux, he wants to wait and just see if he's got a chance to recover here. Obviously, he needs some type of recovery, but... You know what they say, everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face. He just got punched in the face by Sebastian here. Sebastian with a dream start. Perfect opening. And the longswords are back here as well, and there is just no way Sebastian loses this game now. I think in the main event, we might see Armenians banned on this map. It's still early, and we will have a large break. We've got full-on Titans League for a while before the actual LAN happens. And it'll depend on what the drafts look like. But it felt like Sitaux had a good opening to defend from it. And then it still ended up getting the job done anyways. So maybe when it comes to the drafts, players will want to protect from this. Sitaux, I don't know if he's feeling 100% sharp. I don't know exactly where his mind is at after this has happened. But obviously, it's game 1 of 5. So he's going to take his time here, try and recover. But without any access to the shorefish here, there's not going to be the food eco to produce villagers out of 2 TCs. And Sebastian can just continually place a dock, place a mill, and you just have all this food eco. Guys, he's got 0 farms. Like, that is... This map is very much focused on keeping those fish. And the only time it's not is if maybe both players end up getting similar amounts of damage. And then they're forced to transition. So Sitaux's forced to transition right now. But villagers on shorefish is just simply too strong. And it's such little investment. 150 wood seems like a lot, but compare that to a couple farms. 3 farms is more than that. And then here you've got 24 villagers benefiting from just 150 wood dock. Sitaux will try and recover here. But when Sebastian's in Castle Age, Sebastian can boom on multiple town centers. Sebastian could get 2-handed swordsmen. But, I mean, credit to Sitaux. He's got his farms up. Maybe he can recover the Vill deficit a little bit. But again, I think even he knows, unlikely he wins this one. Just wants to play it out to get the warm-up game out of the way. Yeah, Spitfire, I kind of agree with you that Armenians could be good on other maps as well with this strategy. But on other maps, there's way more downsides, right? This map feels perfect for it because it's also a good Navy map. This is kind of funny. Who put that fire ship there? But, yeah, Armenians and Georgians, just even before you talk about their military bonuses, having the mule carts are really nice. Because in Empire Wars, you start with a lumber camp and a mining camp, and half the time they're placed awkwardly, and you can't really have an efficient eco. So yeah, second town center for Sebastian, who's over 2,000 resources up. And he's going to go for 2-handed swordsmen, squires, gambesons, and armor. That's all enough where I think he might be able to engage against the scorpions, but that is a lot of scorpions. It'll depend on how the micro goes. A little bit surprising we never saw a sneak dock here from Sebastian, but clearly that's still not going to be his thinking and approach. Maybe we actually start to see the occasional farm from him, but I'm just looking at this. That's still 3,000 food. Over here, that's still 2,000 food. Like, that will last you a super long while. And the idea is you don't need to invest into the future if there is going to be no future for Sitaux. And here comes the 2-handed swordsman. Dude, they look so cool. I love 2-handed swordsmen. I've always felt like 2-handed swordsmen just look better than champions. Just the way they walk around is so badass. The way they swing as well is so badass. Sitaux's doing what he can. He's playing game on hard mode right now. He gets the house walls. He gets the gate in the back. He gets the town center garrison here. Unfortunately, the town center doesn't seem to be good enough to kill these things immediately. So it's still a tough time for him economically. There's more units on the doorstep as well. This is looking awkward, man. Just the eco efficiency, right? His town center's fully garrisoned. He is making a bunch of Scorps. He does have the monk to get the occasional conversion. He is still walling this out. I don't think Sitaux could have really done a better job at defending this attack. But now I'm seeing Sebastian's going to think about farms because he's getting horse collar. He's got 3 town centers. He could be collecting all the relics. And these two-handed swordsmen are actually just going to dive in for the scorpions now. Unfortunately, scorpions on their own are not enough. You need a couple more units mixed in there. Sebastian knows it. And the two-handed swordsman will get some hits before they go down. Look at him swing, baby. Look at him swing. I love two-handed swordsmen. I used to also think Cavalier looked better than Paladins, like someone in chat just said. I actually prefer the look of Paladins now, but when I was a kid, I sometimes wouldn't upgrade to Paladin just because I didn't think they looked as cool. So it's nice to know some of you guys are in the same boat. Again, I'm expecting the occasional farm from Sebastian, but he's up 15 vills. He also has mangonels and rams here. So this little scorpion defense plan from Sitaux is not going to work out all that well. You do kind of have to think there is a chance that Sitaux is very frustrated right now. There's no easy way of knowing. I would just say it's the first game, and typically in the first game, you want to play on a little bit longer just to get the warm-up in. But this is... I guess he's still playing well considering the circumstances. Maybe he's thinking Sebastian is more weak economically than the score implies. This game is pretty much over. He just killed his own scorpions, which makes things so much worse. And yeah, he will lose the mangonel. He will lose the monks. He might not lose his town center. But this would be the time to call it for Sitaux if you realize you're dead now. But why do that when I haven't taken a moment to thank people for subscribing today? Sitaux is a bro here. D-Ben, welcome back, man. Gmo, thank you for the 7. Tame, thank you. Kanan, appreciate it, man. Drive safe. Rotan, Tyson again, thank you, guys. There we go. All right, Sitaux, we're good now. Maybe I could say hello to some chatters. Maybe I can shout out people on YouTube watching later on extras and say, hey, thank you for watching. What's up, Bongo? What's up, Pixel Juice? What's up, Ovs? What's up, Rogar? Watch Sitaux pull off the comeback now, and then I look like an idiot. Honestly, here's the weakness of Sebastian's strat, is they'll always know you've got a bunch of exposed villagers stacked on the shoreline. So, wow, Sitaux gets the trap. Okay. That's funny. And Sebastian's actually microing these to... Well, he was microing those to keep them alive. But they're going to die now. Thank you, Mayonnaise. Appreciate it. There's the castle for Sitaux. Sitaux's going to try Urumi Swordsman, which... As someone with a mustache, I'm a big fan of the mustached warriors. But I don't think the mustache is going to be enough. Sitaux is... I mean, just look at how inefficient even building the castle is, right? It's really rough. Relics coming in here for Sebastian, taking all the relics. The counterattack from the two-handed swordsman is here, but he can just add a couple swords to match it. No problemo. Clefender says, I think for the tournament, it would be interesting if they looked at each map and admin banned the 2 most played civs for the map. He says, would make the matchups much more interesting, in my opinion. Okay, but you realize that both of these civs would not actually be in that category. Right? Like, the most played civilizations for these maps were Koreans. This was Koreans and Romans on the ladder. So I have not seen this matchup many times at all. I think I saw Armenian one other time. And it was yesterday. But there really hasn't been a high frequency of these civ matchups. And obviously, there's going to be more variety to the civ matchups in the main event than maybe even the quali, because there'll be different draft settings. So, yeah, I think the most played civs on this map were definitely Romans and Koreans on the ladder. Ladder is very different, though. The ladder, I think we can all agree it got a little bit repetitive. But there were very few bans. You had 2 admin bans, and then you had... I think the players had 2 total bans. So I'm guessing they probably banned civs like Koreans out. I'd have to double check the draft. But yeah, this game is going imp apparently. Sebastian's going to be on the way up. Again, he's done enough to win this game, but there's a lot of resistance now. There's a castle in the back. And it's actually way less safe of an option for him to try and kill Sitaux right now if Sitaux's not going to tap. So he'll just go to the Imperial Age to finish the job. Rusty Sean says there should be 10 bans for each player. The game is inflated with civs. Yeah, but think about it from a player perspective. You know, whether or not I disagree with the inflated comment doesn't matter. If you have too many bans, then players can't practice properly. Right? So, like, imagine you're like, I've got this really cool strategy. Well, the odds then go up significantly that your best strategy gets banned out. So what I like is I like variety from event to event, which I think we're in a pretty good spot with. For example, Titans League, we don't have random bans because I don't want people to get their practice civs banned out, and I really think players should be able to play the best of their ability in a league like that. So I'm really happy overall. I'm happy with what the format looks like for Red Bull. But I don't know if that translates into what the main event will be, you know? They could still change what the main event draft looks like, so. Sitaux just so far behind here. So far behind, it's not even close. Jawful says, I disagree. The best strats aren't fully cheeky strats, and random bans gives us variety. Okay, smiles in chat if you like cheeky strats. So there's going to be people who disagree with you. So we don't all have to agree. It's cool. But the other thing, I'm not saying... When I say that someone practices with something and then it gets banned, I'm not implying it's a cheeky one-trick strat either, you know? It could be anything. I think there's value in having someone be able to practice what they could actually play in the event. Sebastian must have practiced that. It was a very good opening. I personally feel Sitaux actually had an opening to match this, and where this all started to unravel a little bit was he got a little bit unlucky here. Like, he did the right thing. He kept his archers, knowing those units were going to come around. He kept his archers here. But sometimes you try and do too much. And Sebastian was able to sneak by him. And yeah, had he sat there, had he waited for those, had he killed these or pushed these back initially, he would have never chased. I do think he needed a demo or two as well. And then he maybe could have defended from that. But obviously, a very good strategy from Sebastian. And he was well ahead there, which is a great feeling starting off a set. I love this map. And I think this map is perfect for Sitaux as well, because Sitaux loves to play. He's not really as defensive of a player. And so for game number 2, we've got Dorothy's Quarry here. We've got Sebastian playing as the Jurchens. And we've got Sitaux playing as the Magyars. And the way this map works is your wood line generates with 3 lumber camps at the top. And honestly, some players are finding it's too much to just wall in if you want to wall in a normal fashion. So walling from your town center to these wood lines seems pretty ambitious at times. Wow, Sitaux is going for 2 militia and the man-at-arms upgrade, which is not something the Magyars have any big bonuses for. You do get the free forging upgrade. But it's interesting, right? You've got 2 man-at-arms, and now he's adding the 3rd. He's staying on gold. I think Sebastian is fully expecting there to just be all-in scouts from the Magyars. And it's going to be archer opening from Sebastian, which I might not have expected either. I like archers into scouts a lot on this map, though. And Sitaux clearly going for a very aggressive opening to get some early damage here, but he's been spotted now. And nice confidence from Sebastian to micro back there. That's crazy. That's crazy. He has the confidence to fight back Magyar man-at-arms. Saves the weak villager. Meanwhile, is chasing this scout. It's actually going to look really nice for Sebastian because he is walled. He's walled this way. And then he's got his ranged units on this side. He also has lots of deer coming in. It does have another weak villager. Sitaux will be desperate for the kills. And I think Sebastian's maybe gone a little bit too far. Yeah, he goes too far. I don't think he'll be too disappointed with this because when you go men-at-arms, it does really slow down your follow-up. So I think that he'll feel like his economy is still much better, even being down 1 villager. But he should be able to chase this down, should be able to get some kills. No dock from either player yet, which could happen. It feels like there's a limited amount of oyster here for Sebastian if he were to try and take the gold. I guess there's some empty spots as well for Sitaux. Yeah, notice Sitaux's approach. He's gone double archer range. He's dropping the stable. This is not a player who's playing the late game at all. It feels like Sebastian's build-up is definitely with the late game in mind, which I feel like you always have to have. I think if you try and play recklessly open the whole time, eventually the more defensive player is going to win. But res collected for Sitaux's looking pretty smooth. He'll be mixing in scouts. It's double range archers against 1 range. But will he have enough range units here? I don't think so. Not initially. So it depends on the micro here. I think if Sitaux can properly get farms around this mill, behind all this, he can stay open. He's got a lot of army coming forward. But you lose 1 fight, and your base being exposed is a real problem. And the Jurchen scouts are not too bad either. And the micro from Sebastian's perfect. A nice shot from him. The scouts will help against any skirms in the mix. 10 to 2 KD for Sebastian. Crazy. Against that much pressure. 0 seconds of TC idle time. He hasn't been housed. Like, this is why so many of us were thinking Sebastian is going to be going into that decider set against Viper, which will happen right after this. Now, the Magyar player has forging. That was free. But Sebastian researched armor on the scouts. So I think those scouts kind of cancel each other out now. But the armor is much nicer against the archers, because you tank those shots. Sebastian, every time he has a building, it's always queuing. Like, that is something I think he does better than maybe anybody. His archer range and his stables and his TC, they're always queuing. If anything, compared to some others, he maybe over-queues. So there can be some situations where he doesn't have as good command of what resources he has, because he's got like 8 archers in queue or 10 archers in queue out of 2 ranges. But he's always producing military. There's never a dip in that. And Sebastian and Sitaux both have a hill on separate sides here. I feel like Sitaux feels like he constantly has to do something here. And he's trying to be the one who brings in the pressure. But Sebastian waiting for him. Sebastian gets 2 more pickoffs, man. And Sebastian's not shying away from more scouts. He's dropping another stable. He's getting bloodlines now. This is so good from Sebastian. We do have horse collar for Sitaux, so he is expanding those farms. And he could play with the cheap scouts and feudal age for a very long time here. But he will drop a tower on his gold. He is going to have to back up for a second. A dock is an option here, but I just think with how much work there is required to do everything else, maybe a good move for them to skip over the dock. I wouldn't mind a dock here just so you could make a demo, but... Now, this is interesting. Sitaux doesn't have his scouts here anymore, so he's opted for some walls. He's opting for the tower. Sebastian wanted damage done, but the scouts can't really do anything against the walls. So if Sitaux can run into the back of Sebastian's base now, this could be what Sitaux needs. This is a really good call from Sitaux. Because if this map was open, the archers and the scouts would struggle against... Or sorry, the archers and the scouts would beat just the archers. But it's essentially a ranged unit war right now with the way these houses are set up for Sitaux. And those scouts maybe needed to go home for Sebastian. Sebastian finds out where the army is. The army's here. We've got almost fully upgraded scouts. There's also a hill here. I don't know what the scouts were doing initially. They weren't really attacking, but that's so good, man. There's still more villagers here for Sitaux to take. The villagers are all completely pulled off gold. All the army's got to come home for Sebastian. He did not expect this from Sitaux at all. What a great call from Sitaux. I think he's just got to capitalize on this. Like, I respect the patience, but just let your units engage. Because those Jurchen scouts are coming home. I still think he's done good damage there. And there he will engage. And oh man, it's a feast for Sitaux. It's a feast! 7 villager kills. 8 villager kills. And yeah, that's the end of it, but that's fine. That's fine because he's on the way to Castle Age. He's got 14 archers. He wasn't pushed off gold. He's super heavy on stone, which tells me he's really worried. So his eco advantage right now is just stone miners. Let's keep that in mind. So in terms of the amount on food, he's actually got less. Amount on gold, he's actually got less. Wood, he's got more. But that's not typically what you see your eco lead turn into. I don't hate it, though, if you feel you're going to need some towers. With a tower here and then a tower here, he could more easily justify moving out. I still really like Sebastian's eco balance for someone who lost 8 villagers. And Sebastian's bringing his units forward, and Sebastian will have his scouts, which Sitaux will no longer have. It feels like, yeah, just towers everywhere from Sitaux. But do I like this tower? I'm not sure. I would have preferred the tower to protect the wood line a little bit more. A lot of this is just the awkwardness of the map, guys. But, man, Sitaux played well. I like that. What I wasn't sure on, because the game one, he just got stomped, right? I wasn't sure he was going to have that defensive switch in him based on the opening. I saw double range. I saw stable. I wasn't sure that there would be the defensive play when the counterattack happened, but that was just textbook. Defend and counterattack with the scouts. Oh, man. Oh, man. Sitaux doesn't have any vision on the map right now. He doesn't know... Oh, God. He doesn't know the crossbows from Sitaux, or Sebastian, rather, are over here, and his town center is going to get denied. And this is some great momentum for Sebastian. Thankfully for Sitaux, he does have the tower. And he does have his own army here. The army for Sebastian's going to dive through. So that town center can probably be completed. There are towers everywhere. But the towers haven't really done too much to kill these crossbows. So Sitaux will pull the villagers back over to complete the TC. Ballistics is 12 seconds away from Sebastian. What type of value can he get here? We've got 17 crossbows against 9. But Ballistics is in for Sebastian, and he has the hill. Sitaux's doing the right thing. You just need to close the distance. You'll lose a couple units, but once you close the distance, Ballistics won't matter. I mean, that got really awkward for Sitaux there. I still think he's okay. But this is by no means over. 8-1 Eco KD feels like it means nothing right now after that recovery from Sebastian. And Sebastian could drop the second TC. Sebastian's also making Cav Archers, which I kind of expected both players to make long-term. Like, Magyar Cav Archers mass faster. Jurchen Cav Archers do fire a little bit faster. And Sebastian's got that military control. And he just feels like he's got the flow of the game right now. That's why I looked at the towers and I was like, Like, that's a move that I would do against Sebastian, because I'm like, I don't know if I have the confidence to take some of these fights or to be in the perfect positions. It's kind of crazy, right? You think a couple defensive towers isn't a bad sign. But it didn't do what he would have wanted. Maybe without them, he would have died there, though. The second town center's up. Sitaux is going to switch into skirms after seeing the Cav Archers, which is a good move. He could have opted for his own Cav Archers, but technically the Magyar Cav Archers, at least for now, would be worse. The skirms will be a good choice. We'll now counterattack with the crossbows, both players having ballistics. And crossbows have the range advantage, but beautiful micro from Sitaux. Man, I keep getting the players wrong. Sorry, Sitaux's micro has been fine, but I meant to say Sebastian. Who will make a dock now. So, first dock sighting of the game. Now, you can fish on the deep fish. You can also fish on the oysters. So, you have that option, but obviously making a couple fire ships or demos could be good too. That villager's going to get sniped immediately. So, that was a little questionable for Sebastian. Here he gets pushed away by seeing a couple skirms. And here we see the third town center in the back for Sebastian, who is actually behind 15 villagers now. Man, a second ago, it looked like it was pretty close. Nice villager lead for Sitaux. And Sitaux needs to get some good value from these crossbowmen before they go down. Any kills here is good value as far as I'm concerned. Even just keeping your opponent here is good value. Yeah, that's fine for Sitaux. That's good micro from Sebastian. It's really nice micro from Sebastian, but he'll still lose a couple Cav Archers. And that army for Sitaux is always going to go down, so... Real Heresy says, why does every sentence from T90 feel like he is asking something? Question mark. Is that the case? That's really weird. Why would you say such a thing? How rude of you? Question mark. To explain, any moment you hear me do that, I'm trying to add a little bit of sense and intrigue on the way the game is flowing, right? There's a lot of if, ands, or buts on if a move is good or not throughout a game, right? For example, Skirm. Skirm was great in 5 minutes ago, but now he's advancing forward with the skirmishers. If that Siege Workshop actually completed, there could be a downside. So I think probably you're exaggerating. But it might just be the way my voice is pitching, and now I'm super self-conscious about it, so... Thanks for bringing it up, dude. Thanks for bringing it up. Now I'm going to be extremely self-conscious. And Shiki says it's a California thing. Interesting. Okay, so I'm not from California. I grew up very far from California. I don't live in California, but maybe I've got some California in me, man. So, what I'm surprised by is that Sebastian had a Siege Workshop. It felt like the perfect position for what was required, and then he canceled it. So, maybe in his mind, he feels like Step Lancers is the way to go instead. And he might be right on that. These skirmishers advance far out. Moving forward with skirmishers is sometimes a questionable decision. And these Step Lancers attack faster, and these Step Lancers are going to mow down the skirmishers. That was... Well, there's the question mark right there. I think Sitaux could have maybe just boomed up a little bit, kept the skirms at home, made a switch into Cav Archers or maybe Knights himself. But damn, that's brutal, man. T90 Valley Girl accent? Okay. You know, there are times I think I need to read my chat more, and then this is one of those moments where I say, maybe I should focus on the game. I love you guys, but yikes. 81 villagers for Sebastian. Which civilization's late game would you prefer, chat? Magyars or Jurchens? I think I'm still going with Magyars. I haven't played Jurchen late game as much, but I think Magyars, if they can get recurve bow, and if you have multiple castles to make Magyar Hussar, it's a very strong comp. One of the toughest comps to break. But, I mean, I think with Fortified Bastions, it's really hard to break the Jurchens if they're patient. If they play Hussars and Cav Archers themselves, it still should be pretty close. I guess we could go as far as to compare the Navy for each civ. I think they both probably have comparable navies. I don't think navies are necessarily stellar for either. Well, you get Heavy Demo. And I guess you get the Loose Swans for the Jurchen, so... Maybe getting Heavy Demo could be good, but Sebastian's Cav Archers get met by skirms and a castle on this side. And that should tell Sebastian, especially if he sees this castle. This game is going late. We're going to Imp. This will be a long one, guys. And so if it's going to be a long game, securing the extra stones and golds on the sides. He's snagging relics, obviously, is a big move as well. And there's the castle for Sebastian, almost on cue. The other thing you could consider here is Iron Pagodas. I did not factor in the unique unit for the Jurchens. I think Iron Pagoda is really strong, but no one knows it yet. Because it still gets the 25% faster attack, because it's a mounted unit. And then the first melee attack gets blocked. So the first melee attack from the enemy does no damage, which to me says that Halb isn't a proper counter to it. Because Halbs could go down very quickly. So... maybe that's the long-term play here for Sebastian, especially if he loses some army. I kind of feel like his eco isn't set up for it. Here comes the fire ships. And they're going to force those skirmishers away. This castle goes up. Imp is on the way for Sebastian. He's still behind in Vils, though. And Cav Archer count is looking really healthy for Sitaux as we see another dog. Guys, this is so important on this map. So let's just double-check this. We've got 66k gold left on the map. 48k is oysters. Like, gold is so important, and that is all around the water right now. So I think what might be the best play, and this might not be exciting for viewers long term. But on this map, you know how you play early imp? You defensive castle, you keep your army at home, and you go navy with that much gold there. And they're both doing it right now. Now that I say it, but I like the investment from both. I was expecting maybe one player to do it. It's really good understanding. And then both players need to get Galleon if that's the case. Magyars get Galleon. Jurchens get Galleon. They do get all the ranged upgrades. So, yeah. But Sebastian gets access to heavy demo, which isn't necessarily a very good play against mass Galleons, but it could be a good play in general to mix in. Imagine if he had a demo here, for example. Iron Pagodas. They'll want to move out there and do what they do. Feast on the gold miners here. And honestly, they're going to feast on the gold miners, guys. Did you know Iron Pagodas counter ships? Because I didn't. Sitaux was thinking, I've got galleons here, or galleys. This is fine. Iron Pagodas are tanking a lot there. Damn. And that's huge just to snowball the advantages on the water. Now he didn't kill too much, but now he's got his ships massing over here. He does have to deal with these cav archers, though. These cav archers and skirms from Sitaux are still in a pretty awkward position. There's a lot of farming eco that needs to be safe back here. And I still really like the numbers from Sitaux. I love recurve bow coming in. I didn't think he'd be able to afford that. And is regular old Iron Pagoda good enough to kill recurve bow cav archers? These are not elite yet. He will get the armor upgrade in just in time for the fight. And Sebastian probably has just enough army here to be able to complete this castle. Yeah, he knows it too. He's actually backing away from the fight. Worried he'll lose his units. Now he goes in. Still has the pagodas on the left side. Bloodlines not being in for Sitaux is a problem. And oh, no, the Navy. Yikes. His cav archers are so weak right now. I wonder if he thinks he has bloodlines since Feudal Age, because there was a lot of scouts in Feudal. It could be that he thinks he has bloodlines and has just forgotten. Galleon upgrades in for Sitaux. He'll have chemistry in much faster, so chemistry hasn't even been clicked for Sebastian. So I still think Sitau's in the better spot as far as the Navy's concerned, which I still think is important, and there should be time for Sitaux to figure out he doesn't have bloodlines. Sebastian was patient with his numbers, though. Oh, this is going to be a banger of a game. The Iron Pagodas are helping a lot. The melee units on water are sick. What a swing. And now he's getting chemistry, and now he's getting galleons, and obviously he still has bloodlines. So, with no bloodlines for Sitaux, it could be problematic. Sitaux is getting shipwright, dude. So they've definitely practiced a lot on this map. To recognize that shipwright is even needed is crazy. I'm doing that with the Magyars. That might be the first time I've ever seen shipwright with the Magyars, to be honest. It's not a cheap technology. I think it's 1,000 food and 300 gold. But there's a discount on ships, and ships produce faster. I don't know if Jurchens get shipwright. Is that here? Yeah, Jurchens do not get it. So it's 20%. Ships cost 20% less wood and build 50% faster if you get shipwright, which is a huge upgrade on water. So I think Sitaux should be favored on water with that in mind. I think also the fact that Sitaux is actively mining the oysters is a really good call. I'm not seeing that from Sebastian. So whether Sitaux is going to lose the water or not, I'm not sure. But we've got elite Iron Pagodas coming in for Sebastian. But can he do anything with that? If there's always cav archers patrolling around in castles, it might be tough. I think if there's no cav archers, though, you can get a lot of damage. And I really don't like Sitaux's lack of expansion on the land. He really needs to expand to these areas. Sitaux's already, or Sebastian's already got outposts going up. Cav archers not having bloodlines is just so sad right now, though. I think he's just so focused on the Navy, as he should be. Again, it might actually be better to just not make land army and just drop castles and just win water first. As boring as that might sound on a map that's been predominantly land. There's the Iron Pagodas, 160 HP. Their Pierce Armor is really solid. I think these Iron Pagodas can prevent Sitaux from expanding and taking some of these stones and golds. So the units are just passing there. There's going to be a castle for Sebastian, assuming he can defend that. Loose Swans are very good. It's kind of like the Cannon Galleon equivalent for this Civ. Well, and not just the Civ, but some of the other Civs that get it. But it's also good against other ships. So they have a little bit of splash damage. So you've got two different projectiles. You've got the arrows, and then you've got the Cannon Galleon. But Loose Swans are very good. Now, I feel like they're really OP with the one Civ that gets the unique tech for the extra projectiles. I think that's the Woo. Correct me if I'm wrong there, chat. So I know they're insane with the Woo. Haven't really seen them with the Jerchins that much, but they seem to be doing some work right now. Is that the Shoe? The Woo or the Shoe or the Way? I think it's the Woo. Sitaux's getting some good raids back here. This is a really nice raids into the eco. He did lose ground on this side, though, and he will start to make some trebs to push this. I don't think you want your Navy to stack up like this when against the Loose Swans. You do need to just go in and target them. That's a good play for Sitaux. That's a good play. He can recover on water so quickly now that he is shipwright. I love the fact that he's engaging like that. Can't help but feel like the occasional heavy demo could be a good move for Sebastian since his Civ gets that. Right now, the game plan is the occasional Iron Pagoda runs in to tank some things on water. Sitaux's got one treb. Might want to wait, but he's running on 1 golds, guys. He's shifting over to this gold. You see, he's just got 5 on gold. Sebastian can take more gold and stone all around the map. Guys, what do you say as a caster? Give me some advice. What am I supposed to say if Sebastian researches this tech? Instead of fortified bastions, do I say fortified Sebastian? I think someone in chat implied that I said that earlier or made the joke. I'm not sure which, but I'm stealing that. He needs to fortify up, dude. He needs to become fortified Sebastian. Come on! That's not even a joke! Why are we minus 7K'ing me right now? Sebastian trying to push. He doesn't have his Sebastians fortified. So his castle's not slowly regenerating, and he might lose this castle on the left side. Would love to see Sitaux repair this castle just to get a bit more value. I would also like to see Sebastian, okay, he's doing it. Take this gold while he can. Most of the gold income is around the shoreline right now. Which means Navy is so valuable. And 25 galleons for Sebastian. It's only 14 for Sitaux. You know what hurts for Sitaux is his ships are getting stuck behind some of these docks, which is so annoying. He's actually using the cav archers, but if you have to use the cav archers on water, I think it's a sign that things have not gone as you would have wanted. And even though Sebastian might lose this castle, he has so much available stone, he's just going to place another castle over here for more stone and gold. Still no bloodlines for Sitaux. Will he ever think of that? I think he'll take a really bad fight, and then he'll realize his units aren't as tanky as he wants. But because we haven't seen these Magyar Hussars against Iron Pagoda straight up, I don't think there's enough experience for anybody to look at that and clearly say, yeah, no bloodlines. Oh, man, the Iron Pagodas are going to try and move away from those cav archers. And he'll get into the back. There's still not a lot of eco back there, so it could be okay. More Loose Swans in the mix for Sebastian right now. Speaking of upgrades missing, Sebastian still doesn't have +4 attack. But it's not as big a deal as the bloodlines. Bloodlines you really need for your cav. Yeah, I think maybe at some point, with the lack of gold, Sitaux's going to have to switch into Hussar. So if he tries to play regular Hussar out of the stables, then he might go to the stable and see... Like, basically, when he goes to click Light Cav, he's going to see he doesn't have bloodlines. But I saw he's making some Magyar Hussars. But that might have just been in a moment of desperation. And there's heavy demo from Sebastian. I actually think that's a sick call here. Because you can't flee, guys. You can't really get away from demo shots here. And imagine this dock just sending out a heavy demo into the mix. I think we'll see this a lot on this map, guys. Once the players get closer and closer in level, imagine main event, I think we'll see civs needing to have at least heavy demo or galleon. I'm beginning to get worried for Sitaux. He doesn't have a lot of map control, though he is coming on the left side with his cav archers and trebs. He is losing water, and if he's losing water, he's losing gold. And if he's losing gold, he can't make cav archers anymore. Sebastian, at the same time, is going to need all hands on deck to deal with these trebs. He still doesn't have all of his attack upgrades. But he is also going to treb over here, and he's going to get some raids in. And yeah, let's go! Say it with me, chat! It's time for Fortified Sebastians. Let's go! Fortified Sebastians from Sebastian. He's taking the water. The water will be his, which means anything around the water will be his. Okay, we have a redock attempt from Sitaux, so he doesn't fully lose it. Thank you, chat. Appreciate it. We just lost a couple viewers. But 300 IQ to not have 7K viewers. I can't lose 7K. Nice. Should have thought about that one before. Armor upgrades are coming in. And Elite Magyar Hussar. Which tells me that Sitaux may never realize he doesn't have bloodlines. Because if you're playing cav out of the castles, you will never check your stable for that. Yeah, all Sebastian is doing now is he's massing as many iron pagodas he can to go snipe those trebs. But he's found the redock attempt from Sitaux. That's just not going to happen for Sitaux. He does have 4 relics. And he is also dropping the gates in the houses to block off the trebs a little bit. So all this is still very good. I just love the castle setup for Sebastian. I feel like that's so nice. And that combined with having the water where the majority of the gold is going to be insanely strong here. He just can't lose more castles. He just lost that one. If he loses any more castles, then there's a question on can he actually make more iron pagodas. Sitaux needs to push on land with what he's got left. He's reclaimed some gold and some stone over here. A lot of it, actually. He does have Elite Magyar Hussar that can be in front of the cav archers, which is insane. I actually think Magyar Hussars on water could be a good call, too. Because they're tanky, and they should be able to kill off a couple ships. Unfortunately, you have to just avoid the shoreline in general. You'll lose your town center, too, if you're Sitaux. But man, not having bloodlines hurts so much. It'd be so much extra HP on this army that's already doing really well. So his army isn't even maxed out. And he's making progress. What a game. What a game. Yeah, Magyar Hussar are going down to attack the galleons. Sitaux keeping himself alive here. Despite the awkward situation on water. Villagers are fleeing over to this left side, mainly. And the iron pagodas for Sebastian are going to engage. He'll go for the trebs. He's not fully focus firing the trebs. But he gets 2 of them. And I think he gets all 3, guys. And I think with Fortified Bastions being in, or excuse me, Fortified Sebastian being in, that castle's going to regenerate on its own anyways. Which is huge because he doesn't have the stone. How many more times can Sitaux actually do that? Right there. Can he mass 4 trebs again? Or is he just going to run out of gold? He might actually lose his relics eventually. The relics are really close to the shoreline. But how many times can Sebastian lose iron pagodas? At least now he's got the +4 attack. The iron pagodas should be melee specialists, I feel. They're actually really good in general because they have high pierce armor still. But at least with that blocking attack, or blocking of the melee attack, it isn't helping against the cav archers. Nice finds from Sitaux over here, too. Finding some good raids there is crazy. And Sebastian built a TC here for whatever reason. That gets denied. Sebastian's farming eco was here, guys. He needs to move it into the back. And there's a Magyar Hussar there that's already killed 5 villagers. And counting, too. Oh, man. But now Sitaux's going to lose his relics. What is this game? What is this game? And oh, no! Now Sitaux is going to get raided, too! Oh, crap, man. This is crazy. Honestly, this game could definitely go to the timer. Because it's really tough for both players to break the other's position. And they both are having some really good and bad moments at the same time. This is another bad moment for Sebastian. He does not know that Magyar Hussar is back there. 11 eco kills make it 12. Okay, he just noticed it. But then Sitaux lost some vills over here. His Cav Archers, though, they're kind of holding. I would just say test it out and just engage against the Navy right now if you're Sitaux. Just give it a little test patrol and just see how your Cav Archers and your Hussars actually do. Because there's a chance you actually clear that, especially if you're on the hill. Magyar Hussars are here. Oh, yeah. Find the docks and you raid the villagers. Find the docks. Not so much the farming eco. That's good, too. I don't think Sitaux realizes there's that many vills there right now. But look at Sitaux. Sitaux fully walling in his trebs now. Cav Archers are here. He'll go for this castle. Guys, if Sebastian loses this castle, he loses all of this area behind it. And the Magyar Hussars are beating the Navy. No bloodlines. Magyar Hussars kind of working right now. What a great job from Sitaux. I think fully walling in these trebs would be ideal. But every time he walls in his trebs, he adds a few more walls and a few more houses than he did the last time. There's actually a gap in between there. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. The Iron Pagodas are through. Oh, no. Don't tell me the castle stands. Don't tell me the castle stands. Sitaux doesn't have the golds. Castle will stand. The skirms also did some decent trades against the Cav Archers. There's only 20 now. Crazy game. Sitaux is going to get some relics again. But Sebastian holds on. Still not an easy time for him, but he still does have access to gold. He actually needs more villagers on wood, if anything, right now. But yes, at 1 hour and 15 minutes game time, whoever has the highest score wins. The game will end. I think it's less of a candidate for score win now because Sitaux really needed to take this castle down. But it still could get there. I still think Sitaux could find some good raids if his Magyar Hussars find the right positions. But it's so tough, guys. He only has 2 castles. And if he gathers up these castles and tries to set the rally point over here, he runs through Navy. Like, this is a sign. 60 kills on this Navy. That's just kills on Magyar Hussars and Cav Archers. And no bloodlines. It's just so painful. Ugh. And he doesn't know. It's one of those things you find out later, right? And there's nothing worse as well. Like, if you're in Sitaux's position, you're going to have freaking 100 people bring up this no bloodlines moment to you over the next couple weeks. Sitaux, did you know you had no bloodlines? Like, he's going to be like, well, obviously I didn't know. I'm speaking from experience here. If anyone ever watches one of my games after I play. He did have a stable before. I'm not seeing it now. He must have lost the stable, so he doesn't even have it. But he had it for a long time and still never checked. Here we go again. Sitaux has plugged the gap. So he's hoping to protect his trebs again. Hoping the Iron Pagodas can't get in. But there is a gap on the other side there, Sitaux. And the Iron Pagodas are going to do what they do. They're going to snipe the trebs. Dude, the fortified bastion upgrade has been crazy. I know he's repairing it, but the 500 HP per minute is so good here. But, oh my god, look at the raids now. We got Magyar Hussars finding the villagers on golds. We have fast fires coming in on waters, so Sitaux could possibly retake there. But at the same time, Sitaux is going to get massacred on the left. I still think just having the docks, in Sebastian's case, having heavy demo, having the Iron Pagodas, having the castles, all these things are so good for him. And if he sees the fast fires, he will not be scared with the potential to add some demos. The castle positions are a bit better for Sebastian as well. He has more of them, and they're in a good position to defend. This castle being the key one, and he's starting to treb down Sitaux's castle here. I think this is where Sitaux might soon call it, guys. Because he just doesn't have enough tankiness to his army. But he doesn't have the position. What a game from Sebastian. After losing those 8 vills in feudal age, he somehow brought this to late game. He won the water, which felt like it was going to be key. He played Iron Pagoda, which isn't that common. but it seems like it should be more common. And one last attempt for Sitaux, maybe. But he's got limited golds, and he needs a big fight. Magyar Hussars and Cav Archers split up from each other here. The Iron Pagodas just seem so good. 160 HP, 7... Is it 7 pierce? No, it's... Yeah, 7 pierce, 5 melee, but then you block the first melee attack, and you do 17 damage, and you also attack 25% faster. This unit's insane. I know Sitaux has spoken publicly, even though they're not being used. He's like, Iron Pagodas are OP. Sitaux made a little video on the state of balance and whatnot, and he's like, I can promise you that that unit's OP. I mean, it's a best of 5, so still playable for Sitaux if he loses this, but this feels like an important one. I don't even remember specifics on what the draft looks like, so maybe there's some positives there for Sitaux. But he needs a big raid to end this game right now. And there's not that many villagers here for Sitaux. Or Sebastian, rather. There are villagers there, though. So it's not like there's nothing. But he needs his army over on the left side right now. If someone says, I am flag ignorant. Where is Sebastian from? He's from Uruguay. One of the few high-level players from Uruguay. And, okay, Magyar Huss are making it. This is funny, though. Like, this is not where most of the farming is for Sebastian anymore. It's still down here. They shifted a lot of it to the north as well. He could really use a castle there. And these raids could still catch up with him. But he's taking down the town centers and is taking down a castle from Sitaux. Finally, Sitaux has been able to find an opportunity to snipe those traps. That's what the Magyar Hussar are known for. So that was nice. Honestly, he's still doing a good job to get raids. Look at how many villagers have gone down this game. But his gold income was here. And that gets spotted. He still hasn't been able to kill the Iron Pagodas. He doesn't have a unit here to do that. It's the Cav Archers, really. But he has to wait till the skirms are gone. It's just one of those games where I think Sitaux could have won it with slightly better engagements early. I think even early Castle Age. Early Castle Age, there was more potential for Sitaux here. We talked about the towers. We talked about the town center. All these things that could have gone slightly differently for Sitaux. But he goes down. And well played to Sebastian. That is what's so nice about Sebastian. Is even if he loses villagers, you could still have faith he's going to get the job done. Like, he lost 8 vills. He barely killed anything. And I'm just sitting here thinking, I don't think this game is over. Because he's still going to have such good follow-up. The Cav Archer follow-up was a good move in the mid-game. But the Iron Pagoda switch... Actually, even the Lancer switch in Castle Age. Very smart move. And, yeah, he played the positioning on the land very well with his castles. And then he also won the water, of course, which was a big deal. And he won the water against Shipwright. So my question to you, chat... Why did Sitaux lose water if they were going for the same text and he had Shipwright? The answer is maybe because he made a lot of Cav Archers. Like, maybe that's the play, is you don't actually make Cav Archers. You just camp with castles. You get 20 pop up on water. Then you switch to other units later. Yeah, dock location could have been part of it too. Sitaux was kind of cramped here. He was maybe too late to water into the position. Also, the Iron Pagodas helped Sebastian on water. The Cav Archers could not help Sitaux on water in the early imp fights, at least. So there was a lot of factors there. But yeah, making as many units as Sitaux did on land, making 211 Magyar Hussar and 131 units out of the ranges, and not having bloodlines is painful. That's like 80% of your military units could have been stronger with one simple upgrade. Sitaux goes with the Vikings here, which is a very interesting decision. I was not expecting to see Vikings, but yet again, he's down. He wants to go for man-at-arms. So he's going to open up this game on Thames, mix in some militia, and try and surprise Sebastian with man-at-arms. Sebastian's got one of the best civs in all of Empire Wars, but I would say on this map, knowing where your opponent's town center is isn't a valuable bonus here, but cheaper and faster research and eco upgrades is great. This is good for archer and cav archer civs, in my opinion. But also, if you need cav, you could do it with Vietnamese. I mean, they're extremely flexible. A lot more flexible than the Vikings. The Vikings do get wheelbarrow for free, though. And I don't know if Sebastian saw that, guys. He's opening archers. But I don't think he spotted that this is man-at-arms again from Sitaux. And one of the most frustrating things to happen if you're going man-at-arms is to run into a wolf. So, sad woo-woo-woo noises for Sitaux. Now, he's done this multiple times, and he will always squeeze in double bid X behind it. Typically, you can't get that upgrade, so it's a nice job, and I don't think Sebastian knows. Sebastian's never expecting this. And there's the scout, there's the man-at-arms. He thought he would be fine. He's got to leave in a hurry. And so the damage control from Sebastian, how good is it going to be? So far, it's okay. But one villager killed, and still could be more villagers killed here. Sitaux is very happy with this. And this is sick. He's building the defensive tower. He knows his opponent is on range. The tower is almost perfectly timed. Then he has his own ranged units at home to defend. And he still has the units over here attacking, making life difficult for Sebastian. But yeah, you can tell Sitaux's approach is just full army again. He's down 2 games. Why not just send it? In the north, guys, we do have the Royal Albert Hall, which is where the final weekend of this event will be in London. But we're trying to determine who's the 8th player joining today. Winner of this will face Viper in a best of 7 to get there. Don't forget to say Royal. I don't want to hear anyone say it's just Albert Hall, okay? Who is Albert if they're not Royal, all right? Get it right. Sebastian snagging a couple cows from the north. We'll see if he can get them home. He's still chasing this one man-at-arm. And now here's the ranged follow-up from Sitaux. Sitaux's got double archer range production here. He's feeling pretty good about this right now. But I don't think he knows that there's also a scout switch coming from Sebastian. Sebastian deletes his house foundation, drops a nice little house wall. Dude, that's crazy. What was that? That's insane. The rate at which it was deleted, rebuilt, and then villager dodged was ridiculous. That was crazy. I know everyone looks at Viper for someone like that, who we'll see in the next set, but that was like on par with some of Viper's best plays ever. That's crazy. Made that look so easy. And now he's got scouts with armor, and now he'll get the clear. So he doesn't lose the vills. He'll clear up the army. He didn't have to build a tower or anything like Sitaux had to. A beautiful job from Sebastian. Still a lot of work to do to fully wall his base. But Sitaux will drop the market. And Sitaux is already feeling like this is all about the castle age timing now. But he was not expecting the scouts. He certainly wasn't expecting armor to be in. And with armor being in, he tries to save his skirms here, and he just completely overextends. Oh, man. This feels like the wrong play for Sitaux, but you always want to follow up to protect your other forms of army. He doesn't end up losing everything there. He would have lost a little bit more had he not had the army. He mixes in some spearmen. He has to micro. He has the market to buy and sell some res. Full walls for Sebastian are coming up. I love his farming eco right now. That's 13 farms. But Vikings with freewheel, having the res collected lead. Sitaux killed the villager. Sebastian did not. And Sitaux also with some really nice walling here. He did just overchop. And Sebastian gets bloodlines. So he's never going to forget that like Sitaux did in the previous game. But honestly, you could argue that bloodlines wasn't needed. So I think it's not going to hurt or anything. But it wasn't really needed for this army at this time. Maybe Castle Age could have been slightly faster for Sebastian. But his micro seems so good. And I think Sitaux recognizes it too. Because Sitaux's philosophy has been make more units. Or, you know, make better units. But in the early game, you're making similar types of military units. Every build from Sitaux has been designed around not matching whatever the build is going to be for Sebastian. Sebastian has essentially gone meta. The man-at-arms have been very off meta. The double range follow-ups also not meta for this. It's a nice build from Sitaux. But to not be rewarded with more kills is kind of disappointing. As I was saying that, though, he got 3 or 4 kills there. So really nice recovery. He needs to find his wood in the back. People gave me a hard time. Watched one of my games. I built outposts in the back. You need to know about those wood lines if it's a ranged unit war. It's really tough because you're always moving forward. You're never looking backwards. It's good to, like right now, Sebastian is getting 1 unit, and he's looking around with an archer. That's probably the ideal play. Oh, but Sitaux clears his army. Beautiful find for Sitaux there. Sitaux, you got to be fully walled, dude. You got to be fully walled. You can't let scouts come into your base. Oh, God. All right, well. Sebastian's going to find the wood lines in the back of Sitaux's base before Sitaux does. The scouts are weak, but they do have bloodlines and armor, so they can still be annoying. And I think Sitaux's a little bit distracted by the scouts in the back, and now his archers have been found by skirms. Great move from Sebastian. He obviously knows exactly what the Vikings are going to try and do here. It's always ranged unit opening, and then maybe a knight or two, maybe the occasional infantry switch, but Vietnamese are living the dream here with their stronger skirms. Scouts will come in. Sitaux was waiting and looking for that. And he loses a Vil, so it's 1-1 on the Eco KD. Yeah, there's no way that Sitaux can engage on the map now with these skirms. It's just not possible. It'll be full armor, full attack. Now you're going to need siege. And this is where the clock starts ticking a little bit for me with the Vikings. The opening for the Vikings is early game, mid game. Imp can get really awkward, and we are closing in on Imp. Not like directly Imperial Age, but this has basically become an Imp timing game, you know? Love the town center in the back from Sebastian, which he found with the archer, right? He found the woodline and the stone. That's a nice detail. And now he sees the siege workshop from Sitaux. He also saw where Sitaux isn't with his eco, but Sitaux knows about these woodlines now because he's chasing the scouts. So you have the hall, and the hall gives you the pop space. That's really important later, not necessarily needed right now. And then you have the stone and the gold, also really important later, but could be taken advantage of right now. Sebastian's siege workshop's going up in the middle. And he needs to be careful here. And he sees the siege workshop has a flag. Sitaux tried to sneak, but this has been walled up already by Sebastian. Man, both have played so well. Guys, if Sebastian can play like this, assuming Sebastian wins, if Sebastian can play like this against Viper, I think Viper is going to have a very difficult task beating him. Would you agree? He is playing super sharp, super consistent game to game. I mean, I'm not saying Viper can't do it, but Viper is really going to have to bring his all against Sebastian. Sebastian's the real deal, man. Rodin says, with all due respect, Sitaux is no Viper. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you. Like in the previous game, I think in late game, I think Viper would show more experience. Maybe get the win in the previous one, right? But I'm just saying, like, this is not a situation where it's like Viper's a heavy favorite in the next set, in my opinion. I would love to see it go to 7 games, but we don't really get to decide. Sitaux advancing forward with the micro. Doesn't know that town center's on the way up. Obviously, Sebastian is aware that Sitaux is here and closing in on that town center. This is what you have to be really good to do. But he just basically is trying to act like he's going to take an engagement just so he can complete the town center. That's where a lesser player would actually engage with the knights and lose 2 knights just so the TC completes. But he doesn't panic. He's super consistent. He'll send his skirmishers to the north now because he just lost the hall and he got housed. I love it when that happens on this map. You rely on this hall so much and then you get uber housed when it gets stolen. I think Sitaux is looking over here now. Has to be careful with his siege, and the skirmishers have found him. But no ballistics for Sebastian yet. That upgrade's just now on the way. Crazy micro from Sebastian. Just so freaking strong. Also, he is even with the handcard upgrade now. So he researched that. Still just 2 town centers for Sitaux. But a lot of this can come down to who takes the better fights here and who can get a castle up here. And Sitaux seems to be planning around that. Also, when you're not playing skirmishers and you're only on 2 town centers, you save a lot of food for Imperial Age. Sitaux is going to win or lose this game based on imp timing anyways. I think Viking late game is just far inferior. So you got to get to imp first, and that's where you'll have some success. But good luck, Sitaux. This is a lot of army from Sebastian right now. And with Sebastian's micro, not going to be easy to get this kill when you only have one mangonel. It's one mangonel against 3, and there's fully upgraded Vietnamese skirms on the other side. There are more skirmishers coming in. What crazy micro we're having right now. It's good for Sitaux. Ish. I don't know if it's good enough. It was not good. He is dropping a castle here. If this castle gets spotted, this would be the series. But Sebastian just doesn't expect it. And so he's not going that way. He's going this way. And this gives Sitaux some chances still. He's on the way to imp. Now, imagine if Sebastian chooses to drop a castle in the natural position here or here. Not only could it get denied by the castle, but it could just get trebbed down. So I think we're trending towards that direction. He's also adding a lot of knights, which delays his Imperial Age time. But he does have army over here harassing, which isn't easy for Sitaux to defend. And he's got an army over here. Sitaux's got a very tiny army to upgrade it. It's really going to come down to if his castle can give him treb value. And he needs a castle for Sebastian to be close by. Because he can't protect it. Nice job from Sitaux. I mean, this doesn't feel like an army that can end the game, but it can. If that army actually got in, it's a problem. He's already got issues over here. Nice damage control from Sitaux. Lovely attack ground there to save the mangonel. And Sebastian will get rocked by the mangonel. You're just not expecting that with how good Sebastian's playing, but he's human. And oh my god, dude. Okay. So Sebastian is dropping a castle. Sitaux is building another castle. They both see it. No, sorry. Sitaux doesn't see it. So his is at 20%. It's 40% for Sebastian. But isn't it funny? Sebastian sees this castle and thinks, oh, he's going to go imp. But he didn't know about this castle until just now. I don't know if Sitaux goes up. Which sounds bad. But if it doesn't go up, it's actually okay. No, he can get it up. He can get it up. He'll complete it. There he goes. It's actually okay. Because now he has 2 castles to make trebs. Sebastian is 2.5 minutes away from imp, guys. Obviously, his main eco is way better. He's got the hall in the north. He's probably going to get the relics. But he might lose this entire position. No, he will lose this entire position. You do not farm here right now, okay? You got to farm somewhere else. You got to move to the north, probably. It's not like he's a minute behind to wait for bombard cannons, which would already be bad. He's 2 minutes behind, and Sitaux will have 2 trebs. And now Sitaux will have Bracer, which on range units can make a big difference. Bracer skirms can kill off what will eventually be the superior skirms for the Vietnamese. There's a strong 2 minutes here for Sitaux to fight this one back. Amazing from him to build this castle, to bring the Vils here when he did. Because if he didn't, he'd have no chance. He'd be fighting from this position with limited resources. And Sebastian would have safe castles, and Sebastian would have all this eco. Lots of micro is going to be needed here. But it's tough micro for Sebastian because he doesn't have the imp upgrades. And down goes the castle, and down will go the TC immediately after. Would love to see Sebastian expand to the north. Expand to the north. Take this area. At least you'll have the relics there. At least you'll have the wood. But maybe it's not easy to do. Not easy to think about. He's about to reach imp. Thankfully, this wasn't the imp TC. That would have been a little bit worrying. We've had some pretty sus imp TCs at times. Like Yo's the other day was crazy. Yeah, town center goes down. He goes for imp skirm and bracer and chemistry right away. Okay, so this is still where Sitaux's going to have some big problems. I'm not sure I love this castle position for Sebastian. It shows a lot of confidence that you can hold against the trebs. I feel like Sitaux's behind and he just has to go after that castle immediately. It's not like chemistry's completed just yet. Oh, man. A couple Knights and Imp Skirms are going to get into Sitau's eco. What can Sitaux actually make to fight the Skirms? It's going to be his own Skirmishers, which obviously is not as good. He also doesn't have the food eco. He doesn't have the wood eco to make skirms like Sebastian can. Sebastian's food and wood eco is much better. But the Trebs are there. Army's running in. Berserks would be an insane play for Sitaux, but the economy is so limited for him. He can pretty much only make Trebs and a couple skirms right now. If he starts to win some fights and his economy improves, then Berserks could be a good play. Maybe the best play for the Vikings, but this is just so difficult. Yeah, Sebastian loses the castle. But is he going to lose any more ground? He still has tons of stone. He's got a nice population lead. There's nothing Sitaux can do against Imp Skirm right now. I think the most immediate thing you could try is maybe Onager. But you'd have to buy food, research Onager. And then you're still in a bit of a pickle because bombard cannons from Sebastian can snipe that from range. So, not going to be easy for Sitaux. He's definitely hit a little bit of a wall. And Sebastian has a beautiful economy. He just needs those bomber cannons to be the difference. And he'll lose one. Remember, he has limited golds. I think he's got this gold and this gold here. So he's got like 3k golds. Still no monastery up. Still no relics being collected. Which could be an option for him in the north. It always bothers me, guys. And I understand how it happens. But it's always so sad to me when someone has castles here, but they never built a town center here. It's like, oh my god, dude, imagine if he actually had a TC here this whole time and he had 15 villagers on gold. Sitau's advantage here is supposed to be the gold, but he's barely mining it. So he's denying the gold from the opponent. That's it. Also, the wood lines. It's looking real rough back here. Look at how much eco is exposed on the front. He did get up to 31 skirms, but 31 regular elite skirms against 31 Imperial skirmishers from the Vietnamese. That's going Vietnamese's way every single time, man. Bombard cannons are still hoping to push this castle back. Sitaux is still trying to hold. But an amazing job from Sebastian to recognize he could pressure Sitaux in this area. Still good micros needed, and the Trebs are sniping the bombard cannons. Food count isn't crazy for Sebastian, so if you wanted to switch, might not be feasible. Big shot could come in here. This is your chance, Sitaux. Oh, okay. I mean, that's really nice. That's really nice. He's got a skirm lead now, and he still has this area protected. Oh, dude, that's so unlucky. He had the crossbows there. Had he patrolled, he might have also denied that castle. He doesn't, though, which gives Sebastian some control up there. Isn't even actively mining this gold. Sebastian's getting the final armor upgrade on Cav, so he'll want a light Cav switch. But needs to be very careful with those mangonels, man. I see some questions. Someone's asking, how are there still players qualifying when there was a ladder qualifier? The answer there is 4 players qualified via the ladder, and then there's a 4-chance traditional qualifier, which is what this is. 7 players have qualified so far. 4 through the ladder, and then 3 through this format. And today we determined the last one. This was actually supposed to happen. This was actually supposed to happen yesterday, but we had a bit of a schedule change. Which is nice, though, because we would have missed this set. Most likely. Sitaux did so much work to just match the skirm numbers. And now light Cav is in. And now that's an even bigger problem. And again, Vikings can't do that in the same way. And he calls the GG. Sebastian with the sweep. Sebastian is in really good shape. And Sitaux knew what they were fighting for today. And he says, GG, well played. Good luck versus Viper. So yeah, this series, to my knowledge, was played yesterday. We covered it today as Rex. That way, whoever would win would be in tip-top shape and would not be exhausted from a set. It will be Viper against Sebastian coming up soon. Best of 7. And whoever wins that will qualify for the main event of Red Bull. So this is a big deal coming up. Sitaux, I felt like every single game plan was get some damage done early. He wasn't able to capitalize on getting some of that damage done. I can't actually be that critical because I feel like he just recognized how solid overall Sebastian is. And he felt like his timings were in Feudal Age or early Castle Age. But good run from Sitaux. Still got very far in the bracket. Still an insane player, of course, but only 8 will qualify. So it was always going to be tough.